flight controllers. Give me a go, no go for launch.
You know that Easter vacation trip we had planned for Acapulco?
Procedures. Go. Control.
Go flight.
There might be a slight change in destination.
Really?
Maybe say the moon.
Booster. Go. Retro.
We'll go flight.
GNC.
We'll go.
And I take the controls and I steer it around
FAO.
We'll go flight.
for a nice, soft landing on the moon. Better than the alarm struck.
Does it bother you that the public regards this flight as routine?
There's nothing routine about flying to the moon. I can vouch for that.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
The clock is running.
Houston, we have cleared the tower at 1313.
Hey guys, we're going to the moon.
This is the crew of the Apollo 13, wishing everyone back on Earth a pleasant evening.
Houston, we have a problem. We got a wicked shimmy up here.
Houston, we are venting something out into space. It's definitely a gas of some sort.
Flight, the heart rates are skyrocketing.
The Apollo 13 spacecraft is apparently losing breathing oxygen. The emergency has ruled out any chance of a lunar landing.
Why are so many people here? Something broke on your daddy's spaceship.
I have a request from the news people.
Take it up with my husband. He'll be home on Friday.
So I think I lost the radio contact.
Econ, what's your data telling you?
It's reading a quadruple failure. That can't happen. It's got to be instrumentation.
This is brain death.
This rig will skip right out of the atmosphere and we're never going to get back.
Well, we're looking at less than 15 minutes of life support in the Odyssey. We never lost an American in space. We're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch.
Odyssey, do you read me?
How long does it take to power up the LEM?
3 hours by the checklist.
We don't have that much time.
Well, I am finally reviewing the 1995 movie Apollo 13. So yes, I did The Sandlot, and I jumped ahead a couple of years to review Apollo 13, which came out in June 30th, though it is another summer blockbuster that I am reviewing. So speaking of summertime, I will be reviewing this right after this wonderful message from our big fat red man.
Forward, you're making Martin thirsty.
This is a job for Kool-Aid.
Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah, Kool-Aid here, bringing you fun. Kool-Aid's got thirst on the run. Get a big bite, happy ear to ear. Kool-Aid smile, now 'cause the biggest smile is a Kool-Aid smile. A Kool-Aid smile, a Kool-Aid smile.
Your friend's Cool.
My friend's Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid brand soft drink.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that commercial. Kool-Aid is pretty much it seems to be the drink of choice if you live in Lackawanna, New York. So so I hope you did enjoy this commercial with the bowling alley and the big fat Kool-Aid guy just comes busting right through to give these kids a nice poison drink. Because if you read the back of it, it is just pure garbage. But everybody loves it anyway. Well, not me. So yeah, so to kick things off, I figured I would do a 1970s commercial since this movie is taking place obviously around that time. So this is the Apollo 13, and obviously Apollo 11 is the one that landed on the moon, and then Apollo 12 did. So now people think that it was just routine. So now Apollo 13 has got some star power behind it. This is starring Tom Hanks.
Who's that?
Apparently, he needs an introduction. He was in the movie Castaway, which was not one of my favorites.
Nope.
He was in Captain Phillips. He
Nope.
was in Sully.
Nope.
He was in Saving Mr. Banks. He was the voice of Woody in Toy Story
Nope.
2, 3, and 4. And is there a fifth?
No, I think the one who was March 4.
Okay. The Man with One Red Shoe.
Nope.
The movie Big, which you have
Nope.
seen.
I did?
Yes. The movie Splash.
Nope.
Turner and Hooch.
Nope.
You've seen Turner and Hooch. It was the one with the dog.
No, we reviewed it. I did not watch it.
Okay, well, you saw Splash. It was the one with the mermaid.
I think I fell asleep.
Oh. She-
I think you bought me that.
yes, I did, and you fell asleep during it. You actually did see the movie Big. Well, let me think if there's anything else that he was obviously in a lot. Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, The Green Mile, Saving Private Ryan. The list goes on for him. The Philadelphia Story. What?
Top Gun?
He was not in Top Gun.
Which one was that?
That was Tom Cruise.
What was it?
Tom Hanks is actually good. so, so that is Tom Hanks. Next is Gary Sinise. Wait, oh, don't give me that. You know who Gary Sinise is. You've been watching him every single night.
I did?
Yes, but I don't remember what crime show it is.
CSI New York?
That's it.
Who the hell does he play?
The main guy.
Matt?
I believe
I
so.
like him.
Well, see, you know somebody. So Gary Sinise, he was in Red Planet.
No.
He was in
CSI New York?
obviously CSI New York, Forrest Gump.
Nope.
He was in Ransom.
Nope.
So he has been in. He also played Truman in the movie Truman.
Nope.
So he has been in. He has a decent resume. Of Mice and Men, he was also in that as well. And then we also have Bill Paxton. I really hope I don't have to. He was in your favorite movie,
Which one was that?
Twister.
I like him.
He played.
I don't know people by their actual name.
Okay.
I know their character names.
Okay, well, he played Bill in Twister. So he was obviously in Titanic. He was in Vertical Limit. He was in Tombstone. He was in True Lies.
Never seen any of those.
He was. I think he was in Alien 2. I think he was also in one of the Predator movies.
Nope.
So Bill Paxton. Oh yes, and then he was also in $1 Million Arm. Played a really good part in that. That was actually his last movie. And then we also have Kevin Bacon as Jack Swigert, the guy who takes Ken Mattingly's Gary Sinise's spot in this movie. And
He looks like a pack of bacon.
he looks like a pack of bacon. He was in Footloose. He was in Tremors,
The original or the remake?
the original. I don't really want to see either of them. So, and then he also had a cameo appearance in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Never seen it.
Yes, you did.
I did.
He was with Steve Martin and John Candy, where they're trying to get a plane home. Okay, so let me think here. Kevin Bacon. Oh, yes, he was in The Air Up There. He was in A Few Good Men. So Kevin Bacon has been in several movies. Kathleen Quinlan plays Tom Hanks' wife in this. She was in the movie Breakdown, The Doors. Nico Hughes, which you have seen. He was in Full House. He played Aaron. He was one of Michelle's friends. He was in Kindergarten Cop. He was the little kid that used to say things to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was in Mercury Rising. So he's been in a decent amount of stuff. Let's see. We also have Ed Harris. He plays Gene Kranz in this movie. He's the director. He's pretty much the head honcho of Mission Control. And we know Ed Harris from All the Right Stuff. I know you've seen him in stuff. He was in The Rock. He was in Just Cause. He was in Glengarry and Glen Ross.
I've seen the things, but there was nothing I have seen.
Let's see. He was in Stepmom, Radio.
No. You say I've seen him, but yeah, you're not naming anything I have ever seen.
He was in Double Mommy.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was not. He wouldn't. He's way too above that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'll just have it with some fine cognac.
Okay.
And let's see. And Ron Howard did direct this, and Ron Howard really should not need an introduction. He was in Happy Days.
Never seen it.
He was in American Graffiti.
Never
He
seen
directed Da Vinci Code.
Never heard of it.
Oh dear. Okay, well I will just stop there.
I don't think they really need to know. They know that I don't know who any of these people are.
You're gonna hurt their feelings.
That's fine.
And Ron Howard pretty much brought his whole family into this movie. His mom plays Jim Lovell's mom in this. So his dad also plays a priest in this movie, and then he brought his brother Clint in this movie as well. So Clint Howard, it's a whole family reunion for this movie, and French Stewart also has a role in this, even though I can never find him. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anybody out. He was in Third Rock from the Sun. He was the real funny guy in that movie. He is in here somewhere. So I'm sure there are some other co-stars that of course you will recognize a little bit. So the whole story to this movie, like I said, the space program, they don't know if they want to keep funding it because people think it is routine to go to space or go to the moon for that matter, which it is not. I'm sure it's a lot harder than it looks because space is one big vacuum. So obviously the Apollo 11 and 12 touched down on the moon, like I said. So now it is Apollo 13. And I don't know if they even televised the liftoff, and they did not televise the broadcast because people were just kind of bored with the Apollos going to the moon. So this mission, there's problems pretty much right off the bat. The one guy they're all exposed to the measles, and Ken Manningly, played by Gary Sinise, never had the measles before. So his backup has to replace him 2 days before the launch. And that's where Kevin Bacon comes in, and he is Jack Swigert. So now they have a new pilot coming in there. And he hasn't been in a simulator in quite some time. So that's problem number one. So, and obviously the big problem is when they're up into space, they do a routine stir up the oxygen tanks, and it blows up. So now they are leaking oxygen, and the fuel cells also do not work. So you cannot land on the moon with one healthy fuel cell. So because it just won't work, you need to have enough fuel to land on the moon for one, and to power up and go home, or else you're just going to be stuck into space. Just
That seems like fun.
oh yeah, it seems like a blast. You just fall asleep from lack of oxygen. It's no big deal. Then they have to explain to their families, yeah, they're not coming home. So, well, lucky for Jack Swigert, he's living the Ric Flair life where he doesn't have a wife or children. So, but that's Kevin Bacon's character.
You do realize that Ric Flair was married multiple times, yes? And has children, yes?
Yes, with hundreds of women.
That's
so anyways, so obviously they are not landing on the moon. Now the story is they have to come home, so they actually have to slingshot around the moon and come back the long way. So they are actually in space longer than I believe any mission at that time. So there is some interesting things that they have to do to go home. Yes.
How are they supposed to slingshot around the moon if they don't have enough oxygen?
They have to power up the LEM. That's the that's the lunar module to land on the moon. That still had oxygen in it, obviously. So they had to build a filter. They had to do a lot. It's pretty amazing what they actually had to go through to do this. So I will show the first clip in just a second because the story is very simple, but it is also very, very complicated at the same time to get them back home. So I will show the first clip in just a second.
And dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. After trailing the Russians for years with our manned space program, and after that sudden and horrible fire on the launch pad during a routine test.
Well, ooh, that hurts. Well, that was the very sad Apollo 1. Now I just want to show the viewers of sort of the challenges that the space program had to go through. This is just a routine test. This wasn't even supposed to lift off yet. And there was a fire in the cockpit due to too much oxygen. there was just a small little spark, and it ended up being quite a problem. And yes, this actually did happen. I'm trying to remember their names: Gus Grissom, Ed White, and I know the guy's last name was Chap. I just forgot his first name for some reason. So, unfortunately, Gus Grissom was supposed to be the first man to actually step foot on the moon, and obviously that did not happen. So now, I'm sure you're asking, why is this at Jim Lovell's house? I believe it's because Jim Lovell was Neil Armstrong's backup for Apollo 11, and apparently the backup has to actually have everybody over at the house to watch this event take place. So Jim Lovell is in charge of this whole big party at his house, which I'm sure was very, very expensive. I know, I'm getting to that. So I will now show the possibly, there is real footage of the news guy that really is Walter Cronkite at the beginning, and I believe this is the footage of the Apollo 11 landing. This is Ron Howard. This is his work. This is why he's such a good director. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Roger. He's still has time to get out. They just need somebody to wave him off. Wave him off now.
Okay, here we see 1 or 2 inches, almost like a powder.
Armstrong is on the moon.
Yeah,
Neil
that's off the limb now.
38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon.
So it was Roger Chap. That was the other astronaut's name. I knew that I would remember it. So this is the footage that is Walter Cronkite. I'm not sure if we got Walter Cronkite in the footage, but I'm sure we will get him to some point. Ron Howard did do a great job of getting the actual news broadcasts in this movie. So I know I was asked, did Jim Lovell look mad when Neil Armstrong was touching down? I don't think he was mad, but I think on one of his laps around the moon, I think they were so close at actually being able to do it. That might have been Apollo. I don't remember which one that was. I don't know if that was Apollo 8. It was one of them because they all took turns actually going on these missions. So obviously they did touch down on the moon, and then shortly after that, Alan Shepard's ear infection flared up, so the whole crew got bumped up to be on Apollo 13. Originally, Jim Lovell was slated to be on Apollo 14, I believe. So, but because Alan Shepard could no longer go, Jim Lovell's crew on Apollo 14 now goes to 13. So he tells his wife, and she doesn't really seem all that thrilled by this. I mean, she gets rid of her husband for a few days. Thought she'd be thrilled about that. So, oh, come on. So now I'm going to show you what a simulator looked like back then. There was no stupid video game kind of thing. They actually did have this real looking simulator, and I will show you what kind of toys that they used back in this time. So I will show that clip in just a second.
75 people.
Whoa, wait a minute. I lost something here. I can't translate up.
Houston, we are
Down and away.
You want to just spend a call taking another run at this? No, I can.
Blue, kid. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Gentlemen, that is the way we do that.
Oh, man, that woke me up.
Apollo 13.
So I don't know if you'll find this part cool or not, but this is the simulator that they do. This is how they dock they call it the LEM. This is what gets you to the moon. So now I'm sure, obviously, in real space, this is probably a million times harder. But if you pretty much don't dock this, you don't have a mission. So it's very important that you get this right. So and they do this over and over and over again. And from what Tom Hanks says at the end of this, I guess they're actually in that thing for 3 hours. So I guess it's actually a whole simulation of when they're actually in that big, huge missile that takes you to the moon. So now after months of practicing, months in that simulator, one of the backups gets the measles. So now they're all exposed to it. Now Jim Lovell, Tom Hanks, has had the measles, and Fred Hayes, played by Bill Paxton, has also had the measles, but Ken Mattingly has not, and that's played by Gary Sinise. So now this is how Kevin Bacon swaps into his spot. So I will show the clip of them breaking up the crew. I'm sure Jim Lovell is totally okay with this. I'm sure he is on board with this news. So I will show you that clip in just a second.
2 days before the launch, when we can predict each other's moves, we can read the tone of each other's voices.
And Mattingly will be getting seriously ill precisely when you and Hayes will be ascending from the lunar surface to rendezvous with him.
Jim, that's a lousy time for a fever. Now look, Jack Swigert has been out of the loop for weeks. He's fully qualified to fly this mission. He's a fine pilot, but when was the last time he was in a simulator?
Obviously, he didn't take it so well. No, I don't know if you can remember. I don't know if you recognize the flight surgeon, but he is in Boston Legal. He was a lawyer that had Asperger's. So I don't know if you remember all the nervous twitches, but yes, this is him as the flight surgeon. So he does get made fun of a few times in this movie. He is kind of a funny little person that they do pick on. They take off their little monitors just to get him to panic. So anyway, so they are going to still do this with Jack Swigert. They put him in the simulator. And after being out of it for 3 months, they have to do it a few times for him to get it right, but I'm not going to show that. You'll have to see that for yourself. So now I am going to show the launch. Unlike the movie First Man, this actually looks like a very exciting launch. These astronauts actually look like they are excited to do this. So I will show that clip in just a second. Well, this is one of my favorite scenes. I love the liftoff scenes because I was one of those. What? I watched the space shuttle liftoff on TV anytime I got a chance. I watched the takeoff and I watched the landing.
Why would you want to watch it on TV?
How is that not exciting? Because I didn't live in Cape Canaveral. I would love to see a launch firsthand. I would have loved to see that. But first of all, I didn't live in this time. I was 13 years shy. And so the only thing I could do as a kid was watch it on TV. So, yes, I do get a kick out of these takeoffs. So this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. So now I will show the part where he does have to dock the LEM. So, and this is a suspenseful scene. Everybody is sort of cringing at this because of their limited practices, and this is a team that is sort of kind of brought together at the last minute. So it's kind of different. It's like throwing a professional team out of rhythm because there was a fake sports guy that threw a fit when I was watching this movie because God forbid it wasn't about sports, it was about space. So he thinks it's for nerds and that it's very, very easy. This is actually very, very hard stuff to do. So I will show that clip in just a second.
How are we looking, Fred? We're not there yet.
40 feet.
20.
Come on, rookie. Park that thing. Ten feet.
This is taking forever.
Well, so far they have a mission, so he did dock this successfully. So this is a big part of it. If, like I said, if you don't, you have no mission. You won't be going to the moon. So now, at least they have a good chance. So now that they have docked it, now they can get out of their spacesuits, and now they're about to do a broadcast, which all the networks dumped pretty much. So they think they're going on live. They're really not. So their families can watch it. But Jim Lovell's mother cannot because she is in assisted living. So she, unfortunately, her TV network is not getting him in space. So yeah, that is definitely not cool. So now I will show part of that broadcast because some of the special effects in this movie are actually really really cool. And I remember years ago when I actually heard Tom Hanks talk about this movie, he said this is one of his favorite ones that he actually was a part of. So I will show that clip in just a second.
When they get back.
Well, here's the part with the orange juice that I was really trying to find. I did find this kind of cool how they did show the no gravity thing. How now I know at the beginning when they did take off the spacesuits, it did show their space helmets being lifted up without any gravity. The tape deck that he had, the little Walkman, didn't have gravity; it was sort of just spinning there. And this is how they drink the orange juice. They just sort of just cup it in their hand, and it kind of comes out in little liquidy balls, I guess. So I thought that was kind of neat the first time I saw that. So anyway, so this broadcast is going on, and at the end of this, Henry, played by Alexander Berkeley, which people have seen him in several movies such as Air Force One and A Few Good Men. He says that they don't know that they are not on the air. They think this is still being broadcasted. And one part that I did not show you is Jack says that he apologizes to the wonderful President Nixon that he wasn't able to file his taxes because he was going to do it today, but he's in space. I'm sure Richard Nixon will give him a break. So now, shortly after the successful broadcast, everybody's happy, everybody's pretty cheerful. Let's just hope nothing happens. Hopefully, their oxygen tanks don't explode or anything. So I will show the next clip in just a second.
060. You know you're ready? Roger that. Rolling right. 060. Roger that. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Well, this is the little explosion here. You know, I remember seeing this in the movie theater, and I just wondered what would have happened if they never did stir up the oxygen tanks. But I guess that is something that they had to do. I guess it was housekeeping purposes. So every time I watched the movie, I just always regretted that scene. I was like, don't stir the tanks, don't stir the tanks. Well, they do, and boy, did it cause a problem. So obviously, this is, and of course, you get the stupid line there. Houston, we have a problem, which is one of the most overquoted lines in a movie. I don't want to use it, but for this, it was kind of important. I don't think they really wanted that line to catch on like it did. Unfortunately, like I said, it's very overquoted. So now I will go to now Clint Howard plays the one guy in this where he does have an idea and he's going to run it by Gene Kranz. And let's just say it doesn't go over so well. So now he does have a plan to get them back. So I will show that clip in just a second.
If that's where the leak is, we can isolate it. We can isolate it there, and we can save what's left in the tanks, and we can run on a good cell.
You close them, you can't open them again. You can't land on the moon with one healthy fuel cell.
Gene, the Odyssey is dying. From my chair here, this is the last option.
Well, this is what Gene Kranz obviously is. Looks pretty disappointed because they cannot. They obviously cannot land on the moon with one healthy fuel cell. You need a lot of fuel in order to land on the moon and to get back. So that's not good. So the crew doesn't really look. Jim Lovell is incredibly disappointed by this because you could just see his excitement at the beginning to this movie of him going into space, and now that pretty much his dream is now just pretty much taken from him because this is his final flight. So obviously he is just full of disappointment. So after all that hard work going through the space program, this is his last flight. So not so obviously, like I said, very very disappointing news. So now the news broadcast is getting around, and I believe this is the real footage, and that's what I want to try to show the viewers here. That this is, I believe, the actual news broadcast that Ron Howard is bringing to us. So I will show that clip in just a second.
The Apollo 13 spacecraft has lost all electrical power, and astronauts Jim Lovell, Fred Hayes, and Jack Swigert are making their way through the tunnel to the lunar module, using it as a lifeboat, so they'll have electrical power for their radios on the command module.
I forgot where I was. So I wanted to show you what exactly that news broadcast seemed like. If you notice, you can comment on this if you want, but I just think this anchor does a much better job than today's news, where it's all a bunch of garbage. This guy just tells the actual news. He doesn't have some stupid joke, some stupid comment. He isn't Lester Holt. This guy is actually good. So that is what I wanted to show you, what a news broadcast should look like. So now I will show I'm going ahead quite a bit here. There's a lot going on. For one, they had to shut off the cabin heater. That would drive me nuts. They had to shut down the radio, the lights. Pretty much they're powering everything down. And because this is in space, things are freezing up. I know it sounds minor, but if you shut things down, if things are in that extreme cold, will it be that easy to power back up? That is the question. And when they actually look at this thing from a distance, the explosion goes all the way up to the heat shield. So there are so many obstacles here. So I will show another one is CO2. They have enough oxygen to keep them alive, but now the CO2 levels are becoming toxic because they did numbers with 2 people instead of 3, because only 2 people are usually in the LEM. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Just hold my breath. The deadly CO2 gas is literally poisoning the astronauts with every breath in and out.
Heads up.
You have a flight plan up there?
Affirmative, Andy. Jack's got one right here.
Okay, we have
Well, I'm sure you're all wondering, what is Ken Mattingly up to? I was actually surprised I haven't called him Don Mattingly yet. So this is so Ken Mattingly, the real Ken Mattingly, actually I believe just passed away last year. So he is now trying to get them back. So he finally will come up with a procedure, but first I will show you that was the CO2 filter that was a weird procedure as well. So what they actually, I believe, used to get the oxygen at a normal level was, I believe, they used one of their socks. They used duct tape, a bag, and lots of other stuff that they had on board because they had to get a square, what was it, a square peg into a round hole. So they actually had to make their own filter, and that's what that little contraption was that guy brought in. So now I will show you the clip of Ken Mattingly finding power to bring them back. So I will show that clip in just a second.
We have an umbilical that provides power from the command module to the LEM.
All right, it's backup for the LEM power supply.
I'm listening. So, reverse it. Reverse the flow and see if we can draw these 4 amps from the LEM batteries before we cut it loose. Why can't we do that?
We don't have a procedure for that, do we? You're going to lose a lot in the transfer, Ken.
Yeah, but all we're talking about here is 4 amps. Ken? John? I think we got it, buddy.
Well, this is what I guess what somebody likes to call Mac Taylor. So this is what he is doing since he is, I guess, supposed to. And if you notice, there's no spots on him, so he is measle free. Good job, doctors. Nice job. So I guess they got stuff wrong in the 1970s as well. Well, he's also smoking too. So so much for the flight surgeon with health. So moving on. So with Ken getting that supposed measles scare, he does help the astronauts come back. So there was some good out of it. So he was able to find the power to bring them back. Now it's there's just another issue. They looked at the explosion, and it actually went all the way up to the heat shield. So if the extreme cold can split the heat shield wide open, or it could just, or if there is a crack in it, it will go kaboom during reentry. So now the final clip, I will show that. I will show the little fireball from the capsule. So I will show that clip in just a second. This is the final clip that I am going to show. Now, this movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So, yes, this was a very long movie. And believe me, I wanted to show more clips, but since I'm on a time limit because of these stupid 7 to 5 shifts, I'm limited on time. So, so now with this movie here, how many people have seen this? If you haven't seen this, yeah, I'm not going to give it away. Does it blow up? Do the chutes? Now, there's also another thing too. Even if it doesn't blow up, the chutes might be frozen. They might be ice cubes. So if those chutes don't open, it hits the water at 300 miles an hour. And if that happens, you have no astronauts. Well, you do. They just will not be alive. So a lot could still go wrong. So does it? I don't know. You'll have to watch this movie for yourself. So I believe this is a Universal picture, so I don't know how strict they're going to be with my clips. I also don't know what streaming service this is on. So I will highly recommend this movie. This was a very enjoyable movie. I did see this at the theaters once or twice. Oh, not at all. This is a movie you should see at the theater. This is actually worth your money. So when I did see this, I was counting down to when this was going to go on VHS because in my day you had to wait about 4 months or so before it came out on video. It's not like now where everything is very, very quick. So I got this as a birthday present with Twister. So with that being said, this is a movie that I will highly recommend for anybody to see. If you like space, if you like adventure, if you like suspense, it's all there. So this is one that is a must watch. So if I had to grade this, I know the two idiots gave this a good review. Obviously, most critics did. I don't think any of them didn't like it. So this is one that I'm going to give. This might be my best grading. I am going to give this one a definite A. Everything in this was good. The cast was good. The story was good. The writing was good. But Jim Lovell did help with it. And I believe this did win Academy Awards, which it should have. The acting was good. There was no overacting in this, which I was a little surprised by. I thought Kevin Bacon may have done that. But Tom Hanks and Bill Paxton, I was not surprised by their performances. They're two very solid actors. And Ed Harris is another one as well. So really a really good job all around. And Ron Howard really did a great job directing this, bringing the real footage several times. Even one of the other guys that was in black and white, I don't know the anchor's name, but he brought him in as well. So he found the footage there. So everything in this was a pretty accurate movie from what I read as well. Some other movies that I reviewed that were based on true stories were really Hollywooded up. So this is a definite movie to watch at any time. Just make sure there is no barking dogs or loud relatives because there's a lot of dialogue. If you miss something, you might have to rewind it because there's a lot of little things in here that you just don't want to miss. This is one you have to watch probably more than once, probably 3 or 4 times. So please comment below, subscribe if you want, and thank you very much for watching.